Hello YouTube, this is Driver, and for this video I'm going to be doing more of an in-depth analysis and measurement in regards to adding a angled foregrip onto your AR pistol. Now, I've done previous videos on this one, and in the comments I had someone ask me to do a more in-depth measurement of the BCM Gunfighter M-Lock compatible Mod 3 grip. Now, I do realize that on the website they do have these listed as vertical grips, but just because you call something a particular name does not mean that it's exactly what it is. A vertical foregrip, according to their definition, is this, there by me being BCM, but again, referring to the ATF letter, their ATF definition of a vertical foregrip is oriented at a perpendicular 90-degree angle to the bore of the weapon. 90 degree. They are specific. Again, take a look at that. They are specific on the measurements. If they weren't, if it was just perpendicular, then anything on here would be considered a vertical foregrip, and then this would be an AOW, which is in any other weapon, which is illegal under the NFA regulations. Now, this is another ATF letter dating from May 2013, and this is in regards to the lawfulness of attaching an angled foregrip to your AR type pistol. Now, this is very important right here. Right there. Let's see if we can get that zoomed in. There we go. Because the Magpul AFG angled foregrip is not considered a vertical forward pistol grip, it would not be unlawful to fit either of your AR type pistols. Doing so would not create any other weapon. Thus, no registration mandated under the NFA is needed. Right there. That portion right there is extremely important. Now, regarding the attachment of an actual an actual forward vertical grip on an AR pistol, if an individual attaches a grip of this type, regardless of the position on the pistol, regardless if it's here, or if this is a 10-inch barrel, or if it's up here, or if it's to the side, or if it's on top, the latter is no longer designed to be held and fired by the use of a single hand, thus cannot qualify as a handgun or pistol defined above in federal statutes and regulations. Therefore, adding this device to a AR type pistol would convert the latter into an AOW. Now, they specifically say what they mean. These two letters are very important because they designate a vertical foregrip as 90 degrees. The Magpul angled foregrip is more of a, it's also not 90 degrees. So, in regards to them, that is not a forward vertical pistol grip. That is an angled foregrip. Those are legal. Angled, okay, keep in mind, angled foregrips are legal. Vertical foregrips are illegal unless you register them by the NFA. Now, going by their definition of what, let's move this up. Going by their definition of what a vertical foregrip is, let's start from here. So the starting point is going to be this dot right here. Let's make sure that's all straight. So, straight line here, lines up with a ruler. 90 degrees is measured right up here. So, an angle that is oriented at 90 degrees, perpendicular to the bore of the weapon, would have to be an angle that's shaped in that precise measurement, because that is 90 degrees. per the ATF's own words, which I will constantly keep referring to until you get sick of it, is 90 degrees. 90 degrees, 90 degrees. Now, I am going to measure 4 different angles with this Gunfighter Mod 3 from Bravo Company. And let me tell you, it's a fantastic angled foregrip. It's beautiful. I love it. So, let's see. Actually, maybe... yeah, let's get that. There we go. That's better. Now, going to line that up with the line there. There we go. Now, I'm going to make sure that you can see that yourself. That is lined up right there on the money. Alright. Now, with my pen, I am going to trace the angles of the foregrip. Just like so. And then I am going to do the same on the reverse, as if it was put on the reverse angle. So, that is lined up there, as you can see. And then I'm going to also draw another angle there. Alright. Now, right now, what I'm going to do with these measurements is that I am going to create what is called a vertex. A vertex will connect, there we go, to the angle of the barrel. So I'm going to connect that like that. Okay. Now I'm going to trace it all the way to the end of the line. And then trace that. There we go. Make sure that's high enough there. Now, I'm going to go back and label these. This is forward slanted, and this is, yep, that's forward slanted, and this is the reverse of that forward slant, and then this one is backwards slant, and this is the reverse of that backward slant. Now, I'm going to take this protractor here. Now, you're going to see about 8 numbers. I'm going to get the forward angle, and I'm also going to get the reverse angle, and I'm going to do that for all 4 of these. So you're going to see 8 numbers. Now, if any one of these 8 numbers goes past 90 degrees, then that makes this a foregrip. So let's do this. That is measured at 83 degrees in reverse. That is measured, so that's 90, 95, 96 degrees. That is measured at 84. Yeah, 83.5. Let's go with 83.5. And then reverse. That is 80. Yeah. No, sorry, 94. Wait, yeah, 94. That's the notch there. So up here will be 94 degrees. Alright, and now this backward slant. Gonna make sure that's all lined up. Up to here, right there. So that's 90, 91, 92, 93. I'm gonna say, okay, so that's 94. So I'm gonna say that's 93.5 degrees. In reverse, that's 80. That's okay, that's 80. That's 90. 85. 86. Now the reverse of that backward slant, I'm going to measure that at 100, right there. And then the reverse of that is 70. Let's make sure that's all correct. 70, 80, 90. So that is going to be 79.5. Alright, so the measurements again is 83 with a forward slant, and the reverse of that is 96. So that's either if you put the forward slant facing outward versus facing inwards. So these should roughly be around the same. So 83.5 degrees and 94 degrees. Backward slant, 97.5 degrees, 86 degrees. Reverse of that backward slant is 100 degrees and 96.5. Do any of those measurements equate to 90 degrees? No. So either Bravo Company is mismarketing their grips as vertical when in fact they're angled, or ATF just doesn't bother to do any of this stuff. So again, this is for your information, and do with it as you wish. But for me, on my AR pistol, an angled foregrip is perfectly fine according to their definition, as long as it's an angled foregrip. Thank you very much. Leave your comments if you guys do similar experiments. I'd like to see your results, but this is pretty much what I got with a standard protractor. Thanks.